My cat's
And we are live, guys. Guys, if you don't know, I'm sure you probably don't know her. This is Kelly from On Her Own Time on Instagram. How you doing tonight, Kelly?
I'm great, Chris. How are you? It's good to see you.
Good, good. You too. Just unwinding after a long day of work.
I know you seemed busy. We were going to do this at 7, and then I got a message, and you were like, dude, I'm working a deal. How can you say no to that?
Like a last minute kind of thing, yeah. So,
That's exciting.
like
How
exactly.
did it go?
Well, I'm still waiting to hear back on the guy, so
Okay.
I hope it's still on the fence. Hopefully tomorrow morning I'll hear back from him.
Fingers crossed.
So,
Fingers crossed.
what watch you wearing tonight?
I am wearing the Tudor Black Bay 58.
Okay,
It is Tudor Tuesday.
nice.
I don't know. I like the little day of the week things. So, it's either Speedy Tuesday or Tudor Tuesday or Bruise
Yeah.
Day. There's all kinds of them, but today it was the Tudor. It was easy.
I love the
Hadn't
Tudor,
worn
the
it in a
Black Bay
while.
58. Fits perfect. We got
It's
oh, go ahead.
it's a great watch, especially for just every day. It's a no date, so it's easy to set, in my opinion. You just kind of set the time. But I've realized that I do actually like a date. But no, I mean, I think it's a fantastic watch, and the blue is my favorite. I have it on an under the cuff NATO, which is my new fascination. So I post a lot about them because I have a bunch of them.
Nice.
So yeah, what are you wearing?
Still wearing the Doxa, of course.
I love
I'm
it.
thinking about pulling the trigger probably this week. So
Yeah,
fingers crossed. My boy
it
Luke.
looks
I think you've
good.
seen Luke on the
Mhm.
videos. Luke from across the street. We call him our
Yeah,
other employee. Yeah, he's got to hook up in Mayor. He's got to hook up at Mayor, so I might order through them. We'll
there
see.
you go.
Average Joe, what's going on, bud? Flipping Zippo. I'm sure you probably heard of Average Joe, right?
Oh yeah, oh yeah. I've
Yeah,
actually been
yeah.
on a stream with him before. What's up? How are
I
you?
saw
Good
I
to see
sold
you.
him the Breitling, or not the Breitling, the Tudor, the GMT he bought.
Nice.
Yeah,
That's awesome. That is
yeah.
awesome. I think it's hysterical that you know full well how bad my husband wants what's up, Thomas? How bad he wants a John Mayer. And every time it comes up on the Friday night stream, here comes Chris, fully prepared to enable my husband to purchase that watch.
What? Never. What are you talking about?
Never.
Never.
You would never do that. I love it.
But yeah,
One day.
it's a great watch, which I understand when to pay retail. I definitely understand that.
Yeah, and I mean, it's one of those that when you look at the materials and everything about it,
Mm-hmm.
it would be the most expensive watch we've ever purchased if he's able to get it at retail. But sadly enough, I can validate the entire thing.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if
Yep.
you have to sell it, you're not going to lose money. So
Exactly. That's what he keeps trying to tell me. He's like, Kelly, if we buy it at retail, then just think about what happens if we need to sell it. And that's even more heartbreaking. Like, I just don't like that idea. I don't want to sell anything.
yeah, I understand. What all watches are in your current collection right now?
Oh gosh. So I brought down the box and a roll, but this isn't everything. I think there's total of 24, but
Okay.
that includes an unhealthy amount of G-Shocks because I like to buy them at like 1:00 in the morning after I've had a couple of drinks. And then there's, a couple of other ones, but in the collection, I'll show you my top 3 favorite. We'll start there and see what you
Okay.
think. So my all-time favorite is, I got this for Christmas in 2019, and I know I talk about it quite a bit. It's probably no secret to anybody that sits still long enough and asks me about watches, but my number one favorite in my collection is my Zenith Chronomaster. It's a two-tone rose gold and steel. It's just perfect. It is absolutely just perfect. The subdials are
you watched my
fantastic.
channel longer enough, but the Zenith was a long time grail. I actually got that about a year and a half ago. I got the blue dial version.
Yay! I love that.
But I was working Lowe's at the time, and I never
Mhm.
wore it enough, so I kind of ended up selling it, and it may be a rebuy. It was the blue dial 38 mil version.
Oh, that is tough. That is,
Yeah,
I would have a hard time with that. That one is, like, that's my precious. And somebody asked me one day, they said, would you trade it, like an even trade, if for some reason, and I know this wouldn't happen, but I want a Panda Daytona really bad.
Yeah.
And someone said, would you trade it for a Panda? And that was the most upsetting question I've ever been asked. And I still don't know the answer. So that's the number one. The second favorite is my Omega Speedmaster Racing.
Okay.
And I can't figure out where my camera is. This is a really fun watch. It's big. It is.
I like that. That's white dot, right?
Yeah. And it's got a really good texture to it. I don't know what you call it. It's almost like it's a granular texture. It's not like linen or anything, but it reminds me of a popcorn ceiling, but not that aggressive. And so, but this is the number 2 favorite. It is currently back on a bracelet, and I have a similar wrist size to my husband. So we share watches, which is fantastic. But he likes them.
Reminds me of another question when we get to it, by the way.
Okay.
After you're done.
Yep. So this he put back on a bracelet. It was on an Artem black sailcloth. It looks sharp, but it's back in the bracelet, and he likes them loose. So it's a little too loose for me, even with the micro adjustments. So I haven't worn it as much. And then the third favorite is currently being worn by Peter, and I'll see if I can get it off of his wrist. Please and thank you. Yeah. So the third favorite is the all black GMT Master 2.
Nice.
This is such a great watch, and it's so comfortable. I love the Oyster bracelet. It's got a great weight to it. I think that's one of the things that I appreciate about bigger watches is that weight. You can tell it's on your wrist. It doesn't feel insignificant. And this was the first Rolex that we added to the collection. And it's just my favorite. So those are the top 3, but we've got another Omega, another Rolex, Panerai, Longines is the most recent, Seiko.
Yeah, I saw Longines sent you one. That's pretty cool.
They did. And then they sent me 2, and then they said you could keep one. And I'm like, okay.
Sorry, I'm just scrolling off on my phone. I get notifications. I'm just trying to pop up.
You are perfectly fine. I don't have glasses on, so I'm nearsighted, so I can see like words. I don't know what anybody's saying. So I have my phone in front of me. If I look down, it's because I do want to see what's going on.
Everybody's saying, hey, we have Aaron Dunlap. I don't know if you've heard of him.
No, I haven't.
He's the one that loaned me in this Doxa.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I can blame him.
Aaron.
Yeah. Tennessee Mike, he's got a pretty cool channel. I'm sure you've probably seen him. David D.
That's my buddy. That's okay. David. Yeah. Actually, he joins us on Friday nights too.
Okay, cool.
So it's very good to see everybody. Thanks for hanging out.
Yeah,
I'm excited to be here. I'm excited to hang out with Chris. I know we've had a few times that we've chatted together. So this is, I'm glad that we have the one-on-one.
Definitely.
So I said something about sharing a wrist size with my husband, and you had a question. So what?
Oh no, I was going to bring me to one question. Who got who in the watches first? Did you get him the watches, or did he get you into watches?
He started it. So this is actually, I do like this story. So he'd been into watches a lot longer than I have. And when we got together, he had a Tag Heuer 1500 professional something. And I knew it was very special to him. His parents got it for him when he turned 19. And when we were together for a while at like 2013, he bought me a Victorinox. And I can look back now and think like this was his attempt at like grooming at that moment. But then when we got probably 2018-ish, he started really talking about watches and wanting to buy a good watch. And he would tell me the prices, and I just didn't understand why. And his cousins into them. His dad and his uncles were into watches. And so I understand where the fascination with, I just couldn't understand wanting to spend the money. So in 2019, he had the opportunity to pick up a Tag Heuer Carrera. And it was used. It was a little beat up. Okay. It was this one. And it's a great brand. And I have another fun story about it after this, but he brought it home. It looked awful. he got an amazing deal on it, and he, set up this station on our dining room table and cleaned it up, polished it up. It looked fantastic. And so then he's like, "Hey, you want to try it on?" And so I put it on and I wear it. I'm like, And then I didn't take it off for 3 months. And it became a battle over who got the watch first.
He knew what he was doing there.
I think he did. So that's kind of what sparked the interest. And I started looking at the other brands. And for me, a lot of it is the history. I really appreciate where they've come from and what they've built, movement, things like that. I can have small, minor conversations about, but that doesn't resonate with me as much as design and some of the artistic aspects of what these watch brands, what they put out. So when it came time for him to up the ante and say that he was ready for an Omega Seamaster, I was all in. I was like, okay, that's great. Let's do that. That was 2019 and we are in 2022 and we went from that tag to 24 watches. So he did it, but then I kind of took the hobby, realized I could have a lot of fun with it on social media. I started with Facebook groups and they're kind of toxic sometimes, but realized there's just this huge world of conversation and I love talking about them. And so I created an Instagram account for us to share, which was originally called On Our Own Time. And he's not a huge social media fan. He can take it or leave it. And so after a while,
why. It can be kind of toxic.
Nina!
Yeah, speaking of Nina, there's Nina.
Hey!
Just yeah, so what's up, bud?
What's up? Yeah, I took over the account and made it On Her Own Time, and this is where it is now. So it's fun. It's a shared hobby. We have a lot of fun talking about watches, discussing what we're gonna buy next, all that stuff. So
definitely,
yeah,
definitely. That's what's next on your radar? Like besides, John Mayer, but something like that you can get right now.
Something attainable. That's a really good question because we have a few things going on. We are in the process of building a house. And so that's kind of taking a lot of the attention and resources. But once that's done, we'll have a little bit more freedom to make that decision. So I haven't focused on a lot of stuff, but there are brands that I would like to expand to. I at some point would really like to have a Grand Seiko in the collection, but it has to be a very well thought out one because I have a very love-hate relationship with their bracelets. Their finishing, we can sit there and go on and on about. I like how people say it. They say it so reverently. Zeratsu finishing, but I hate their bracelets, so that's a problem. I want an Oris. I want high end stuff too. So I know the next thing that I purchase, it needs character. It needs something unique. It needs something outside of the box, and I'm not sure what I want that to be yet.
What about the Oris cotton candy ones with the cotton candy kind of dowels?
I looked at them. Bronze is a little touch and go for me. The Longines Legend Diver that I got is bronze, and I think it's helping me get over the fear of bronze because I got a Zelo Swordfish that had the bronze case with the forged carbon dial, and it does not patina pretty. But this Longines seems to be fine. So I'm hoping that it'll kind of break that fear and I can look at one of those Orises because they're bright, they're fun, they're perfect for summer. So I don't know. Something with character is definitely what I'm thinking about. Yeah.
And believe it or not, one watch that gets a lot of hate that I'm probably going to get hate for in the comments, just because of the bad rap it gets, is Squally. It's a fun watch. I don't know if you've seen it or not.
I haven't spent as much time. There's so many brands that I actually want to spend time, and I can't show you, but I have a lot of the wristwatch annual books, and they're currently holding up my MacBook right now. But I like to go through them, and I like to look at some of the brands that I don't get to pay enough attention to. I know that Squally is one of them. There's a few that are just amazing.
That polished blue, I had the one, and screams summer watch.
That is, it's summer watches. I love summertime. It's one of my favorite. Actually, I'm in the South, so you know how it is, Chris. That's where you're from.
Mm-hmm.
Summer is it. Everything else is just waiting for summer.
Mm-hmm.
So any kind of watch that just kind of stands out, yeah. I like the fact that Peter is saying a rose gold GMT or what? Or John Mayer. That's it. Everything else is dead to me. This is why it's hard to buy watches in my house.
Hey, he's got standards. He's got goals. There's nothing wrong with that.
That's true. That is true. He's a traditional kind of watch person. He, out of the collection, he wears the tag and the black GMT. I mean, that's it. That's what makes him happy. Everything else is pretty much mine.
So what about you? Random Rob says you can't count the G-Shocks. That's what Random Rob says. So they don't count.
That's actually I can see that. That's why I never bring them down, because first of all, there's 8 of them. That is a problem. That is a psychological problem that I am not trying to broadcast on the internet.
I still have this one here. I mean, this one's been beat to crap, the all metal, the 35th anniversary.
Oh,
but I still have that one. I wear this one all the time too. So
that's usually what I have on during the day because I work from home and I work at a desk and I don't have to worry about a clasp or a bracelet and it's light and I'm clumsy. So I bang into things. So there's usually at least 2 or 3 laying around at some point in the house. There's the Jelly Oak one is laying on my desk.
I like that.
And then there's a couple of others somewhere. I don't know, but I work out in them. And if I work out, but I tend to, cause I wear an Apple Watch on my right wrist. I calibrated it specifically for my right wrist. So I can wear one on my left wrist. But Thomas is asking big questions. Okay.
Thanks, Thomas. What 3 watches would you choose given $25,000 only rule? No Rolex, no Omega.
Oh no. Okay. $25,000. No Rolex, no Omega. 3 watches.
Well, you probably have one, right? The Zenith?
Oh no, I think this is if I can buy 3 for $25,000. No Rolex, no Omega. Okay. This is such a I hate these. It depends because every day is different. I want a Super Ocean, so I'd have to say a Breitling Super Ocean. This is all based off of what I want to. So homeboy over here is going to get judgy, and it's going to be great.
I'm a Breitling fanboy, so there's no judgment. You know, my one watch I miss the most is the Super Ocean Heritage 2. I had the blue dial with the mesh. I love that watch.
No, it's the Super Ocean. I think is my favorite. I have a fascination to the Navitimer, but I don't know if it would irritate me after a while because I wouldn't say it's a busy dial, but it's it has a lot going on. Okay. Breitling Super Ocean, 25,000. Then I would have to I want something unique in there. Let's see. So Breitling, and go Breitling. I would definitely have to have the newest Brew Retrograph, their chocolate with the rose gold, and that's not that much, but I want one.
That's a brand I want to check it out. I haven't checked them out yet.
I have one, and it's fun. It's just a unique watch. I'll talk about it in a little while. Grand Seiko White Birch.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
But if we're not counting the brew, because that's like $350.
No Cartier?
I don't know. I like the tanks. I like the look of them, but I have a 7-inch wrist. And so sometimes I feel like they don't look that good on me. The Santos, maybe. I haven't had a chance to try one on. So that's the struggle is I appreciate the brand and I appreciate what they put out, but I don't have enough wrist time with them because the closest I've come to them is Vegas. So what I know, I would say readily available to me, Super Ocean, White Birch, and Oris Big Crown Pro Pilot.
Okay.
That is what I would want.
Tennessee might stay in JLC. No JLC in there.
For 3 watches for 25,000, I would definitely try to maximize what I would go for like as many as I could. But if somebody said 25,000, I didn't have the stipulation of it had to be 3 watches. Yeah, there's a bunch of them that I would just put 25,000 to. JLC, I would look at all kinds of them. I would look at Vacheron if I could, anything. Like there's a lot that you could do with 25,000 on a single watch. But a Reverso, yes, please.
Yeah, especially the duo face. I mean, you're getting 2 watches for one, basically.
Yeah, I mean, it's a buddy of mine in my local Red Bar. His wife has one, and it's stunning. I mean, it's just a beautiful watch, and that is one of those ones where the rectangle dial would worry me just with wrist size, because that's why I'm hesitant towards the tank. But the Reverso is just such, I mean, it's beautiful. It is absolutely beautiful.
Thomas Burnett saying Octofinissimo. Those are killer watches too.
They're really cool. They are really cool. Yeah, they we were in Disney and we went to Disney Springs to whatever watch store they have there, and they had Bulgari and they had the Octofinissimos, and I mean, it's brain breaking how light it is. You see this watch and you think of all the watches you've handled, and then suddenly they hand it to you and it's so thin and it's so light.
But it's surprisingly sturdy though. Like it's surprisingly durable for the size.
Exactly. So it's that's a fun one. It's not if somebody gifted it to me, yes, I'd take it. But I would not prioritize it.
Okay.
I did try on I don't even know how you pronounce it. The Serpenti, the Bulgari Serpenti.
I think that's
watch the snake one. That is fun. If I had a smaller wrist, it would be so elegant. It's definitely not for 7 inches, but it didn't wrap cleanly, but it's gorgeous. That's a fun watch.
Winding Crowns is asking Pro Pilot 41 or 45?
I like big. I'd go 45. Especially with a Pro Pilot.
Yeah, I have a 7.5 inch wrist, and I like the larger Santos, like the blue dial. I could fit it fine on me. So yeah, you probably be all right.
I tried on a buddy of mine had one in, again, Red Bar, and he loaned it out. So I got to spend some time, and it was the 45. And I love the way they look. I love a big watch on a wrist. And I mean, it's all in perspective of wrist size. I have a friend who is into watches, and she has like a 5.5 inch wrist, and she rocks 42 all the time. It looks amazing on her. It is funny. She'll try on my Pam 388, which is 45, and we can't get the strap tight enough, but even the dial, I mean, she looks like Flavor Flav, but it's fun.
Yeah, it's all what you get used to wearing too, you know?
Yep, exactly. That's the Victorinox that Peter bought me years ago is a 28 millimeter. Okay. And it's so cute. I never wear it. I'll give it to my daughter at some point. But I look at it and I think to myself, like, I used to wear this regularly. And now I look at all the watches and they're all 39 and up. So it's funny how we all kind of change. And
yeah, that's about my size range is like 38 to like 43, probably 44.
Yeah. I only have a couple in the collection that are like 3. They're over 44. Okay. Everything else is 39 to 42 on average.
Yeah, it's about the perfect size.
Yeah. So you mentioned that you think you know what your next watch purchase is going to be. You're going to
I'm pretty sure it's going to be this Doxa here. Not this exact one. I got to loan this back out, give it back out to Aaron, as he was kind enough loaning it to me. But probably this will be nothing major. I mean, these are like $1,900, something like that.
Awesome.
For the money, you can't beat it.
No, I mean, it's a great quality watch, and they've got the reliability. That orange is 100% Clemson all the way.
Mm-hmm.
So,
It's not like a bright. It's not like a bright, like crazy bright
mm-mm.
orange either. It's like a matte kind of orange, so it's not,
Yep,
too over the top.
I agree. I agree.
And it's one of those watches. If you're a watch geek. Like if you know what it is.
If you can recognize it and comment on it, that's when you know that you have a friend.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a few of them that I've been able to see in person, and I'd always seen pictures and I thought they looked great in pictures. And I told you before we started, orange is a little scary to me just because I don't
Mm-hmm.
think it's in my color wheel,
Mm-hmm.
but I would rock an orange watch in a heartbeat.
Mm-hmm. Well, they got other colors too. They have the Caribbean, which is like a little bit of a darker
Oh
blue with
yeah.
the orange hand. Which I thought about getting
Yes.
that one too.
That may have to be. I like expanding the collection past some of the common brands that we see.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot of hype talk that we see a lot of times. So huge emphasis on things like Rolex and Omega and even the
Mm-hmm.
Holy Trinity. But there are so many brands that provide quality watches that you can live life in, that you can get in the water in, that you can accidentally run into the door frame and you're not upset. You don't
Mm-hmm.
cry afterwards. So I like having those as my primary go-tos.
Exactly. Like this one, I don't have to worry about too much. I mean, I'll worry about it, obviously because it's not mine. But if I get one, I don't have to worry about it. Don't have to worry about getting robbed for it. If somebody sees me out, they think I'm wearing a Rolex or something. Oh no, it's
Exactly.
just like a cheap little whatever watch.
Exactly. I mean,
Well,
we travel and we'll take watches with us, but that's a conversation of what do we want to take with us. And a lot of times when I'm actually going through the travel process, I have a Seiko turtle, and that's my favorite Seiko in the collection. And that's usually what I actually travel in because I'm not worried about taking it through TSA. I'm not worried about walking through the airport in it. And I'm not worried about walking around towns or anything, but it still feels really good on my wrist.
and if you lose it or something happens to it, then it's not a. You can replace it. It's not
Yeah.
a huge
I'll
deal.
be sad, but I can go tomorrow and buy another one.
Mm-hmm. Not
Whereas,
like if you lost the GMT Rolex, that would be a
exactly.
big hit.
Like this one is, we have, insurance, but it's like okay, what's that going to do? Like I can't go and buy
Yeah.
another one because they're not just sitting in the case. So, yeah, it's an interesting world. You see it all over I mean, especially follow like all the YouTube channels, you see the
Mm-hmm.
reports about people who are getting robbed for their watches. I think there's a lot more attention being put on
Mm-hmm.
luxury goods and especially watches where these things could go under the radar. But now you have high figure people,
Mm-hmm.
musicians, sports personalities that are wearing them and they make headlines for it. And so they start getting targeted. Was it a boxer recently that got his watch stolen off of him at
Mm-hmm.
gunpoint? I mean,
Like
it could have gone even worse.
yeah, it's not worth it. Like we stopped wearing them outside of work. Like this is what I'm wearing outside of work now. So, but
That I will just say, I don't know. I'm always impressed when I see the videos from Luxury Bazaar because y'all are working, y'all are on the phone, you're working with clients. I would get nothing done because I would be trying on everything
yeah.
there.
Well, like I'm still like a kid at a candy store every day. Like I'll go by Adrian's desk, and you'll have something on there, and I'll be like, "Oh yeah, what's this? Like what's this? What's this?" He's probably just like, "Oh, whatever."
Well, I have a feeling that Nina is going to be my husband's least favorite person because now I'm talking to him about jewelry. First, it was
Mm.
watches, and now I start watching Nina's stories, and I'm like, oh, I like that. And so I'll send them to him. And I'm like, if you loved me, you buy me this
See what
necklace.
you gotta do? Be like, I'll buy you this watch if you want to get me to do that, right?
We'll just make a road trip and we're gonna spend all of our paychecks in your office. That's what's gonna happen.
There you go. Thomas
That's
Burnett's
fun.
asking, "What's your favorite micro brand?"
My favorite micro brand has to be. I'm gonna have to say Brew.
Bro,
I
okay.
have a couple of them. I've got Talker and I've got Brew.
I like Talker.
Yep. So hold on one second. I'll pull both of them out. So the Talker was actually my first just for me watch.
Okay.
After we bought the Seamaster, I had met one of the people in our in the Facebook group worlds that I was in. His name was Ross Gallen. I'm sure a lot of people know him.
He's sitting there with
Yep.
a whole bunch of watches. Yep.
Yeah.
He's a good
So
guy.
he worked at I always mess up the word. It's like ECJ or EJC.
Yeah, ECJ
Yep.
and Charlotte. Yep.
And Charlotte. And so they carried Talker. And so we went and picked up a SkyTrain. And I love the story of these. So this, especially with this one, you'll see the second hand has a little outline of the airplane. And that's actually the outline of that specific SkyTrain airplane that flew in World War II. But I like the fact that this specific watch also has a limited edition version that the dial is made out of metal from those airplanes. So that is cool to me.
If you look back at one of my old videos, I actually reviewed that one.
Did you really? I need to.
The D-Day one, yeah.
I want to see that.
It's kind of a cringe video because it's one of my older ones, but
it's fine. It's fine. And then the newest addition to the micro brand collection is the Brew Retrograph. I've been obsessed over this for a while, and they were always sold out. And then finally, I messaged Brew. I'm pretty sure it was Jonathan. And I said, look, I know that you're restocking these in April. Can I just pay you now? And because I need one. And so I was able to get one, and it is such a fun watch. I personally really like the design of the Tag Monaco, and Peter hates the Tag Monaco, but he likes this one, which I think is interesting.
Well, it's got the right hint on it, like on the tag, but not quite.
So no, this is a really cool watch. I'd never seen one in person, so when I just bought it blind, I was nervous, but it's comfortable, it's fun to wear, it's quirky just because of the case shape and everything. And Brew is doing amazing things. The customer service is out of this world. But I really want that new one that they did, the rose gold with it's like a chocolatey vibe to it. So yeah, I'd have to say ultimately my favorite is Brew.
Nice. That's speaking of Luke, we were talking about Luke earlier. What's up, Luke? You got the kids to bed, I see. So you had to get the kids to bed there.
Yep.
Yeah, I guess on the next subject that we have in common as well is cigars. I think you recently started getting cigars, correct?
Yep, I did. I blame a lot of this on COVID because I wasn't able to go anywhere. And I don't remember how the cigar thing popped up. But years ago, I used to smoke cigarettes, and I quit many years ago. But there is something nice about sitting there in the sun at the end of the day, and you've got a really good flavor. It's not so much about the nicotine rush, it's the flavor for me. And so I have a friend who is on Instagram. Forge Nate is a buddy of mine, and he is in cigars. And so he sent me some. We have a local cigar shop, and he's my go-to. Cigars are new for me. I can talk about whiskey and bourbon all day long. I'm here for it. But cigars are new, so I can't really go into detail about the flavor palette or anything like that. I know what I like, and I know what I don't like. I don't like Cohibas. I like Partagas, and I like Romeo y Julieta.
I like Romeos. They're good.
They're nice. They're not too big. They don't last too long. The flavor is mild, but it still gives you that rich tobacco flavor. And it's just something easy about sitting out on the back deck with a glass of bourbon and a cigar.
Okay.
And it's, So,
what's your bourbon of choice with the cigar?
That's okay. Now we're about to have some fun. So bourbon is, again, this whole COVID thing. One of my past job, I remember seeing, we were on a Teams meet, and our vice president was like, "Oh, what have you been doing in lockdown? Have you picked up a hobby?" And you see these people I started a third language, or I lost 85 pounds. And I'm like, I started drinking bourbon. That was my skill. So the bourbon thing kind of took off, and I do have quite a big collection. I'll see if you can kind of see it. A lot of my pictures involve it just because it's something I enjoy talking about and collecting as well.
Mm-hmm.
My all-time favorite is Four Roses. And so right now I have a Four Roses small batch select that I got for Christmas that's just divine. I have a heavy sweet tooth, so I really appreciate when there's that really nice caramel undertone. But a friend of mine, Travel and Watches, picked up, she's from Denmark, and she brought me a bottle of Danish whiskey.
Nice.
So I opened that last night, and what's really cool is it has the sweetness of bourbon, but a little bit of a smoke like Scotch. So it's not too much of each. It's a really nice balance. So that is usually on a Friday afternoon when I finish work. If I'm having a cigar, more than likely it's Four Roses in the glass or Belle Meade.
No, somebody like me, I'm a beginner in that realm. I guess you could say I'm more of a beer guy myself.
Yeah.
But as far as like pairing a good whiskey with cigar, what would you recommend, or bourbon?
Yeah, I would ask a couple of questions first about if you like sweet or smoky. Scotch and bourbon are very, like Irish whiskey and bourbon are very different flavors because of a smoky level. I'm not a huge Irish whiskey fan or a Scotch fan unless it's really expensive, and then I like it. So I would have conversations about that because you can find variations of both types that'll fit your flavor palette. But I would weigh more towards bourbon because it's my favorite. So if you were to say, Kelly, I want to try something, my go-to to start is Elijah Craig. It's easy to buy. It's not a high price point, and it's a very mild flavor. So you can pick up on the tones that you like. If you don't like it too sweet, that tells you what direction to go to. If you don't like it as smoky or you want more smoke, whatever, it gives you a really good starting point. And if you don't like it, you're not out 60, 70, 80 bucks. You're out 20, 30. Tim.
What's up, Tim? How you doing, bud? But yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Check it out.
Yes, I tend to gift that to people when I know that they like whiskey, but I don't know enough about what they like. I recently went to a really unique experience. It was a dinner pairing. We have a local steakhouse that's a kind of a North Carolina celebrity, and it's called the Angus Barn. It genuinely looks like a massive barn, but they partnered with Maker's Mark and had their own Angus Barn barrel of Private Select rolled out, and they did a 5-course pairing with it, and it was incredible. So I picked up a bottle of the Private Selection, and it's good.
Nice. I have to try that out.
Yeah.
We tried when I was in Raleigh. We went to a steakhouse. I can't even remember the name of the steakhouse, but it was over by a mall. But we had they had like Tomahawk Tuesdays. I mean, it must have been like that huge.
Yeah, was it probably Perry's?
I think, yeah, that sounds right.
Maybe. We went there one night. Yeah. They I decided, my husband and my daughter are big foodies and they love steak. So we have decided to challenge ourselves with touring all of the local like steakhouses. So it's a lot of fun. Yeah, Tim was drinking terrible bourbon earlier on his live stream, so I hope he's okay. A bottle of Jack Daniels that didn't look promising. It was fun. But yeah, so if you ever get into it and you are not close to me to come over and do a tasting so that we can help, and you just walk into wherever you go to buy liquor, Elijah Craig is a good one to start with.
I'll have to look into that.
And then like Scotch wise, there's a couple. Monkey Shoulder, very mild, very drinkable. Actually, I finished almost the whole bottle before I realized I didn't like Scotch. And then Highland Park has more smoke, but it's that one's not a bad one either. That's probably, if we're looking at Scotch, I would recommend those two to try.
Okay, something to pair, like I said, with cigar, just kind of kick back and chill out. on the
Yeah,
balcony, whatever,
exactly. And then of course you deep dive in even more. Do you like it on the rocks? Do you like it neat? People will tell you that if you put ice in it, then you're a heathen. But
Mm,
sometimes I like it. A little bit of water, a little bit of ice just kind of opens up the flavor even more. So depending on what you're in the mood for, I've had them a few different ways. Like if I'm at home, it's either neat or over ice. When I go out, I love an old fashioned.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So don't
Don't
drink
drink
Jack. It's
this.
from Tennessee.
No.
We got Tennessee Mike in here, guys. So it's good, dude. Though. So
I've gotten a bottle of like a barrel pick of Jack Daniels that wasn't bad. It's just not one that I'm just gonna go pick up off the shelf though.
yeah, it's just like drinking a Bud Light or Budweiser, pretty much, right?
Kinda. But I will say if you ever have the opportunity to go to like a bourbon bar and have them put together a flight for you, that's a fun way to discover new bourbons. I did that recently and that was really cool. I liked it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we're going on almost about 50 minutes here. I don't want to keep you up too late here. I know you probably got school night for the kids. So take up too much of you guys' time there. But do you have any other questions or?
No, I've thoroughly enjoyed this. So the Doxa is your next purchase. Let's see. If you had $25,000, I'm going to turn Thomas's question back on you. If you had $25,000, it's a two-part question, and you could buy 3 watches, what would they be? But then at the same point, if you had $25,000 and could buy 1 watch, what would it be?
3 watches, probably the Octo would probably be one. The Blue Dial, I love that one. Maybe, believe it or not, a lot of people probably wouldn't expect this, but the Glasuta CQ would be the other. And the third one, probably that one's another hard one. Maybe throw in a Reverso in there. Maybe I don't know. You asked me on the spot there, so.
That's a hard question, and it comes up a lot, I feel like, and it's until you're in this kind of hobby, then you don't really realize how challenging that is because there's so many options. I just see John Navarro in the chat. Definitely come to a Red Bar group if you're in touch with them, then the work is done. But we are doing our next meet is a Zoom meet, and then we'll do our May in-person ones. We do one in person and then we do one like Zoom meet. It's a great group of guys and gals. There's a couple of active women, which I appreciate. But we have a lot of fun. I think anytime you can get into like a watch group in person, it opens up education. It opens up friends that get you when you want to have weird conversations about watches.
I think my buddy Jason might be a part of that Red Bar Raleigh group. Jason, I don't know if you know Cena. What's his last name?
I'd have to look. The name sounds familiar. I'd have to look at the roster because there are a lot of people who are in our WhatsApp, and then and then sometimes some people come to some meets and not others, and then it's trying to keep everybody straight. Like we need name tags. It is a big group, and I'm terrible with names. Oh, but no, I think that's some good answers, Chris, as far as what you would buy for
the one watch would definitely be a Vacheron at retail. The overseas the simple 3-hander. That's my all-time girl. I love the Blue Dial.
Yeah. So. There's just so many that I don't get to experience because North Carolina is a little bit of a dead zone as far as retail. But I've had the chance to travel a bit. I turned 40 last year and my husband took me to Las Vegas for my 40th birthday. And we went to Tourbillon while we were there. And that was the coolest moment ever. So if you haven't been, it's a Swatch Group store. So everything in there is owned by Swatch Group. And I actually did not know that Swatch Group owned Jacques Drouot, which is my Grail watch brand.
Okay.
And they have the Petite Hour Minute Relief Snake is my all-time. I would sell internal organs for that, like necessary ones probably. But I remember hearing somebody say one time, they said, I don't want to see my Grail watch because I'm afraid it's going to disappoint me. So when we went into Tourbillon and I realized they had it, I wanted to see it, but I got really nervous because I was like, no, I've clung to this watch for over a year. What if it's awful? It wasn't awful. It was a 42 millimeter majestic beast on my wrist, and now I need it even more. But that's probably Vegas was the first time I got to see a lot of these brands in person. Vacheron, and
that's how it was back home
before
in Myrtle Beach. I mean, Myrtle Beach.
Yeah.
We only had Tag and Breitling. That was it.
Exactly.
But now I'm fortunate to be, where I'm at now, and
right,
like day in, day out, So I can I've kind of, I don't know, not necessarily elevated my taste, but kind of they've gone up from what it was.
I think that's exactly what would happen, because as the collection has grown, my appreciations, the things that I want, have grown. And I think part of me is very happy that I can't find them here, because then it would be a whole different, but it would be bad.
Luke, by the way, saying come visit me and Roman and get on the range, because he owns the gun shop across the street.
Okay, I'm down for that. I do like to shoot. I don't have a handgun yet. We have a couple of shotguns, and then Peter recently got this tactical bullpup that I'm afraid to handle. But I like skeet shooting, I like target shooting, all that stuff. So yes, that would be in a magical weekend. We go watch shopping, and then we go shoot guns. I'm here for it.
There you go.
And then if somebody can throw some bourbon in there at some point, then I will probably have found a reason.
Well, you guys are welcome to come over here. You can see me and Marco. We'll have some bourbon for you guys.
There you go. Yes. Yep. I know. And between the two of y'all, you'll have cigars. You'll definitely have cigars.
Of course.
So no, that would be fun. It's on the list. We do want to travel up there and see everybody. There's a lot of people up there that we know. David, I know Tim is in New York, so it would be fun to pressure him into meeting us down in Pennsylvania.
Yeah, it's not too far to drive.
No, I don't think so at all.
I think like 3 hours down here, I think.
From New York?
I think it's about 3 hours, I think.
I have no idea. We've driven to New York a couple of times, so that's my only experience with Pennsylvania is driving through it. I haven't actually stopped. So I would like to adventure around. I may have gone through an airport there one time. I'm not sure. But I was born in North Carolina and didn't really adventure out of the South until I was like 20. And then there's still so many places like up north and even to the west that I have zero.
And the food up here is so good. I'm starting to get a little bit of a gut now. I need to start working out.
Is it? Okay. Because Southern food is hard to...
Yeah.
Southern food is hard to top. But no, I think it'd be a lot of fun. What's up, Kristen? This is my buddy. Kristen, yes. Ladies trip to New York City. So Kristen is actually, if you follow her, that is my in real life best friend.
Okay.
And then this is one of those things where it's like she came over and I said, look at what I bought. And the next thing I know, this girl has a ton of watches too, because she's like, I like watches. And we went down this rabbit hole and it's fantastic. So she's in Red Bar Raleigh with me. It's a lot of fun. It's nice to have, because Peter doesn't like to talk watch all the time. Kristen will. She'll talk watch with me. So, but no, that's, I do think we need a trip to New York City. That'd be fun.
That's the cool thing about being up here. Now I got obviously Luke and all the guys there at work.
I know.
I can kind of nerd out. And now Marco will be here soon too. So kind of nerd out on watches.
That's exciting.
Like all my friends back home were just, I talk about watches. They'd be like, what are you talking about?
So I started a new job and they asked me that loaded question of, tell us about yourself. What's something that you like, or what are some of your hobbies? And I told Peter, I was like, I don't know what to say, because it's like, what do I like to read. And he goes, Kelly, just tell him you like watches. I'm like, that is so weird though. Like, like for people who don't get it, they're like, what do you mean you like watches? Like, you just don't ask. It's fine.
Like Apple Watch, you mean?
Yeah, right.
That's what they think. Apple Watch or like,
Yeah.
what is it? The Samsung.
I
The
will tell you
Fitbit.
a fun story before. I know I've had way too much fun talking to you, Chris.
Mhm.
I always enjoy talking to you.
Of course. Same here.
So I'll tell you a fun story about one of the benefits of my family knowing about watches that we collect. My dad noticed the watches that we would wear, and he would comment on them. And he had a Citizen Eco Drive that he loves it, and he's an avid surfer, loves to fish, loves to golf.
Perfect
so
for that.
this watch is perfect for him.
Mm.
And he would look at our watch and he'd be like, that's nice. I really want a tag wear. Like this was he would say it with such awe. That was all this man wanted. And he's also not the kind of person who will buy something like that for himself. They're very frugal. Like they're just very cautious. And he would just talk about every time he'd see us and he'd say, okay, what's on the wrist? And he was great about it. He'd listen and be like, that's cool. I really want a tag wear. So his birthday was at the beginning of April. And I looked at Peter and I said, I want to buy my dad a watch. And Peter immediately, he loves birthdays. And he said, all right, let's go. So we went to our local, Finks is our favorite place to go. They carry a lot of the brands.
I've been to that one in Raleigh before.
Yeah, so this is the one in Durham.
Okay.
But my girl there is phenomenal. She's so sweet, and she helped me find the BB58 blue when it was still like they had just come out with it and nobody could get it. She got me this. She got me the back girl. I love this woman. So we go in. And I tell her, I'm like, I want to buy my dad a watch. And so we go over to the tag case, and we'd already talked. It was like, okay, he's not going to wear it every day. So let's go quartz because we don't really know what he's going to want right away. That's easier to maintain. Like he's not going to have to deal with setting it, winding it, anything like that. Well, the fun thing about collecting watches so vocally in my house is my daughter gets involved. She's 14. She has an opinion. And so Peter and my daughter just took over. And I got kind of pushed to the side because I'm looking at it. I was like, okay, what do we choose? It's like not a Carrera. I don't think that's his type. Aqua Racer. And they're like, you need to go sit away. So they ended up picking out an F1 and black bezel, black dial, packaged it all up, all this stuff. You should have seen the look on his face when we gave it to him. Like he was in shock. And he just kept saying, no. And he kept looking at it throughout dinner. He'd open the box and he'd look at it. Coolest experience ever. So it is fun sometimes when you start having those conversations with people that maybe you don't think that they'll appreciate it, but then you realize that you could put them on a path of something that they really enjoy. Or even with your family, when you hit that point where you can gift them something like that. Oh my gosh. Like, stick a fork in me, I'm done. I think it's fantastic that I was able to do that. And
that
he's
awesome.
Just thrilled. He's just thrilled.
And maybe he'll buy more now.
I don't know, but I know that he will thoroughly enjoy that. I talked to him the next day and he's like, I didn't wear my watch to work because, I'm doing inventory. And I was like, it's okay. You don't have to wear it every day. And it's okay if you don't wear it every day. But yeah, he,
150.
Oh yeah, that would be fun. We get I'm assuming that means Red Bar Raleigh crew.
Raleigh.
Yeah, there's a lot. There are a lot, and they like a road trip. Yeah. So no, that was a fun story. It was a lot of fun.
That is cool. That is cool.
Yeah.
I guess we'll call it a night tonight, I guess. Thanks for coming on, Kelly.
This was like the fastest hour of my life. I had too much fun, Chris.
We'll have to do it again.
I would like that. I really would. Thank you for having me.
Are you restarting your channel on YouTube, or are you?
I'm going to. So what's kind of going on right now is I don't have a really great dedicated space to film. So usually I'll sit. This is my dining room table. And so after I record anything or stream anything, I have to break everything down and take it away. So the house we're building will actually have a place that I can set up a dedicated filming place. And I'm kind of envisioning what I want it to be like. So once we get into the house, which will be later this summer, then yes. But if I can crank out some stuff in the meantime, absolutely. But with trying to pack and get all that done and celebrate Kristen's upcoming birthday, by the way, I'm going to put her on blast. Vinyls and Dials' birthday's on Thursday, y'all.
Happy early birthday.
So we it's just been so busy, but I want to keep it going. I want to get it back up and going. I really love coming on and talking to people and watching people's content and all that stuff.
Oh yeah. I still watch everybody's content as much as I can and try to when I can.
Hey, that's the kicker. Like I have so many friends who put out YouTube content and do podcasts. So trying to figure out when I can watch it, because everybody that I know is so creative at what they do and their reviews. And I love reviews because I love hearing people's opinions about, like, I may know what my opinion is on this, but then they'll come at it from a different approach and it puts you on a whole different understanding of a watch, or watches that you don't typically see. The live streams crack me up just because you see personalities in the reel. I know that you see this. We do our Friday night live stream, which is colorful. So,
usually I'll get off work for the night and I'll unwind, have a cold beer or whatever, and I'll watch you guys or a cigar.
It's fun to create those live streams. Create a relationship, I think, that is necessary. It gives people the opportunity to connect in a way that recorded content doesn't always do. So I don't know. I love it. I love all of it. I love the social media side of it. There's some pitfalls. There's some negative personalities, but that's always the case
too. I mean, even my little channel, I get negative comments on it.
Yeah. So I mean, it happens.
Brush it off.
Yep. You ignore them. You roll on. I recently discovered that on Instagram, you can restrict a user so they can still comment and nobody can see them. And I think that's my favorite thing ever, because these comments come through because they want other people to give them attention. So if they aren't being seen, like that, I get
they think they're being seen, but they're not.
So, because it doesn't bother me, but yeah.
Yeah, here you can just kind of block them on YouTube.
Yep, exactly. But no, thank you for having me, Chris. This was fantastic.
No problem. Thanks for coming on.
Obviously, when we plan a trip up north, I will tell you, because that is what we're going to do. We're going to come see you. Cool. And it would be fantastic to meet everybody.
You guys are welcome to come. And obviously, I know Roman watches myself. Roman, you got to get on the live stream with Kelly sometime.
He was on one time and I was nervous and my palms were sweaty and it was awkward. And but I really appreciated his time. He was fantastic to listen to. I love the live streams y'all do. I like the unboxings. Those are fun. I love the clips that Luxury Bazaar puts out, because you give a very personal aspect to a business. And that is exactly why people want you sell yourself before you sell your product.
Exactly. That's all. We have some great social media people on there too.
Yeah.
That's a lot of them.
It's fun, but no, I appreciate it, Chris. Thank you so much for tonight. I've been looking forward to this all week.
Yes, ma'am. We will talk to you guys soon. Thanks everybody for coming on. Later, guys.
Bye, guys.